What's going on, you guys? TBR here, back yet again with another King of Fighters All-Star video, and welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are having a wonderful week. In today's video, we are of course going to be talking about the Soulcalibur 6 collaboration. We're also going to be talking about everybody's favorite topic. That's of course going to be power creep, and then also what happened to my end of 2022 videos, because believe it or not, these ladies right here are the ones that torpedoed that, so they're the ones that you have to thank. But before we go ahead and get into all of that and more, make sure if you haven't already done so, you smash that like button and subscribe. And let's just go ahead and get into today's topic. Now, I do need to preface today's topic with one major point, and that is the fact that this is not by any means me saying that these characters are in any way bad, because obviously it's the direct opposite. It actually has more to do with the fact that they're too good. So just make sure that you realize that before we get into this discussion. But I needed to talk about this because, to be honest with you guys, it's pretty apparent at this point that power creep, we've talked about this before, we've made entire videos dedicated to this topic, so I'm going to try and steer this conversation a little bit further away from everything we've already discussed and steer it more towards the girls themselves. But with that being said, power creep in this game is obviously out of control. It's been out of control, but this collaboration in and of itself, I would argue, is probably the worst thing that could have happened to this game at this point, and here's why. Of course, power creep has been out of control, we've already said that, but when it comes to these ladies right here, you took that power creep that was already out of control, and you pretty much saw, instead of it just staying stagnant, or seeing it be peeled back a little bit, you actually saw it cranked up to 10. These ladies right here, if you guys haven't already seen, there's plenty of footage out there. These characters, if you max them out at this point, you're talking about hundreds of billions of damage solo and things such as Guild Raid. You're talking about the free Catsuit Ivy, as we've already documented here on the channel. I've made videos about this. Can go in and solo everything from whether it be your Guild Raids, your spider robots, even reviving Hell's Dungeon. As a free character, she can go in and solo pretty much the entire game. And that is really where the issue lies with this collaboration, in my opinion. Because we've all been talking about the fact that power creep needed to be kind of put in a bottle. It needed to be tapered back a little bit. It at least needed to be put on pause for a while. But instead of that happening, we saw the last major update of 2022 bring us characters that could literally take every bit of content in the game and trivialize it. And it is getting to a point with the King of Fighters All-Star, when you look at these types of characters like we got with this banner right here, post-nerf on Mina, I would say is probably going to be where a lot of people are going to want to land on. However, unfortunately, because of what's been going on with that and the timing of it, if you guys don't know about what's going on with Mina right now, you can check out Soultree's channel or even iRunman's channel. They both have done a good job of documenting this, because on the Korean side, it's actually been kind of a thing longer than it's been a thing over here on the global side, as far as a lot of people knowing about it. And so with that being said, it's one of those situations where even with that, it isn't even that big of a deal when you consider the fact that these characters are so OP as it is. It really doesn't make that big of a difference. And I know that people are upset about having invested already and seeing a character get nerfed after everybody already invested. And that's where my frustration comes in on that. And I don't want to make this video about that topic. Like I said, you guys can check out their channels if you want to see kind of what's going on there. There is now an official global forum post about it as well. But with that all out of the way, really at the end of the day, even with that going on, outside of the controversy of the timing of them doing it, which I totally agree with, does it really make a difference at the end of the day when a character is already so good that they can take out almost all the content in the game? I don't think so. And really with these characters, there isn't a whole lot of room to complain about much of anything, because like I've already said, when you can bring these characters in, if you're a new player and you come into the game, you get all your new player rubies. You know, you log in for the first time, you collect everything that you possibly can from playing the story mode, playing through some of the challenge dungeons and things of that nature, getting those first time rewards. You come into this game and you A3, A4, A5, any of these characters, you're going to be able to go in and you're going to be able to pretty much clear the game. And when it comes to me making videos about what the best characters of 2022 were, because I had intended on, before this collaboration existed, making a video of the top 5 character releases of 2022 in order of just their usability, their versatility, their power level. And yeah, what would be the point of that when literally I would just sit here and go, okay, the collaboration that's going on right now, these are your top characters in the game. Like, that is pretty much what I was looking at when looking at possibly making that video post Soulcalibur 6. And it's getting to a point where I don't really see any reason to use anything else. These characters have trivialized the game in a major way. Now, of course, there is always going to be the case to be made that, of course, you would want to use characters that you enjoy, that you like, you know, if that is your prerogative. But if you're someone who plays this like most any other video game where you're wanting to just grab characters that are kind of, for lack of a better term, meta, and go in and play through all this different content, then of course these are going to be the characters that are going to clear that content for you the quickest and the easiest and the cleanest. And that is really kind of good and bad. It's a double-edged sword, no pun intended. I see you, Cassandra. But at the same time, the positives there, of course, are going to be the fact that you can really kind of condense your struggles and your investment into one spot and not have to worry about kind of spreading out your spending when it comes to your rubies or even your IRL money or whatever it is that you do. Hey, you do you. You want to spend money on the game, go for it. Many people have, myself included. But with that said, I don't necessarily think that if we're really being honest with ourselves going forward, I don't think we can really take this as a good sign, because now that we have seen this type of power creep this quickly, I mean, power creep was already out of control, as we've said, but when you jump this fast over what was already a problem and take it to that next level, and even honestly a step above that, maybe even a couple steps above that, I don't think that that can be good for a game. And I don't see how Netmarble is going to be able to really recover from this. I'm trying not to exaggerate here, but how do you recover from taking the power creep, and it was already right here, and you put it up here with this update? How do you recover from that from a dev standpoint when the game is already in a place where content is so slow to be rolled out, and even then, when it is rolled out, it isn't even that difficult? It's one of those things where, like, for instance, these characters, what are you going to do to be able to kind of bring the content up to their level? I don't really see how you can do that and not take every other character before them and completely throw them in the trash. Because if you were to try to match the content's difficulty to the power of these characters, the rest of the characters in the game, all the previous EX and BS and SS characters for that matter, they're already dead. But all the previous EX characters, there's no way they can compete with that, right? So maybe Haohmaru and Nakaruru. I do digress there. But with that said, this here is, to me, even the cards, just absolutely bonkers what they did here. And I don't really see where this game is going to be able to go longevity-wise at this point. I'm very nervous about what's going on with this, because I do not think that the game is imminently kind of in a place where obviously it's going to close down or anything like that. We have at least this year, right? At least. But what are they going to do now? That's the big question. And I think I know the answer. I think the answer is going to be a whole lot of the same. I think that we're going to continue to see trickle feeding of new content that is trivialized because of power creep issues, and that is going to leave us with a game that we have all these ridiculously strong characters that we can use for content that doesn't match their power level. And so now we're going to be in a place where whatever character comes out after this, if it doesn't match the power level of this collaboration, you're going to have King of Fighters fans, I've seen plenty of this happen in the past, complaining about how non-KOF characters are so much better than the KOF characters in a KOF game. But then you're also on the same side, or on the other side of that, going to potentially have characters come out right after this that are somehow even stronger than this, and then people complain just that much more about it when it comes to the power creep. So I really do not know that there's a good way to get out of this. I think Netmarble has put themselves in a corner. I think Netmarble has done this to themselves. At this point, I'm kind of in the mindset that the devs really do not know what they're doing. And I hate to say that. You guys know me. I've tried to be nothing but respectful to Netmarble when it comes to this game. And I'm not mad by any means. I guess I'm just kind of disappointed. It's one of those things where it's like, as much as you would like to think that they are kind of in a place where they realize after years of working on this game what the community wants and what the community's worried about and where the game is at, as much as you would like to think that they have their heads on straight with that, I don't think that they do. I really don't. I think that Netmarble's kind of in a place with this game where they just want to treat it as a power fantasy game using fighting game characters and fighting game IPs, collect as much revenue as humanly possible off of that, and see how far that will take them. And I don't know how much further that will take them. I really do not. I think that we are in a place now where the community is really longing for a change when it comes to at least new content being added in on a consistent basis versus more new characters. And when your characters continue to be just force-fed to the community and their power level is just so great that people can almost not afford to skip them in a way, it becomes a bit of an issue. But at the same time, that issue compounds itself when every banner's that way. And especially when you have the jump from even what we had with Nakaruru and Haohmaru, who were already incredibly stupid by comparison to what was before them, you have this follow that up directly and just take them and completely toss them out the window. Yes, they're still great. Yes, they're still amazing, but look at what we're looking at with these characters here, not to mention, again, the free characters. It is just ludicrous out here. And I do not think Netmarble has any good way of fixing it. I really don't. And I think that the game itself, mark my words, guys, I think that this here is probably going to be something that we are going to see repercussions from for a while. Again, when you have a free character that can solo the entire game, and that isn't even considering the premium characters, there is a major issue. And I think we've finally gotten to a point where kind of, and I have to put it bluntly, the laziness of Netmarble when it comes to creating new content and keeping the new content at the forefront in front of the new characters when it comes to their priorities, I think it's finally caught up to them to the point where there is no good way out of this. They're in a corner and they've put themselves there themselves. And so at the end of the day, we're just gonna have to see how it plays out. Maybe they have some grand master plan. I doubt it. But anyway, you guys, that's just my opinion on this. That's why there is not going to be a top 5 characters of 2022 video. If you want to know what your top 5 characters are, just look at these banners and look at the free characters. Just summon on this stuff until the next banner, and then summon on that, right? Right. But anyway, guys, that's just my opinion. You can let me know yours in the comment section down below. Again, I'm not trying to be overly dramatic. I'm not trying to be overly down on the game by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not trying to call out the devs. But at the same time, yeah, this is just too much, and I'm concerned about where the game is going to end up. I'm not concerned about the power creep as much. I'm concerned about where the game is going to end up, and I really do think that the game is just going to end up exactly where it is right now, and it's just going to continue. At one point, we're just going to one-tap these bosses. Like, we're going to get to a point where we're just one-tapping this content, right? What can you do? Anyway, you guys, let me know your comments and opinions in the comments section down below. Like, share, and subscribe on your way out. I'll be summoning more on these banners here before the end of this collaboration, I've decided, so stay tuned for that. I'll probably do that on Monday or Tuesday, kind of as a send-off to the collaboration. But either way, you guys, let me know what you think about all this in the comments section. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.
Continue.